Toronto Blue Jays have made multiple moves, including a very surprising move. And in the middle of what is one of the best winning streaks in franchise history, the injury bug continues to plague the Jays. We're going to break that down, discuss what this means going forward. But not only that, we have multiple huge updates ahead of this afternoon's game against the White Sox as they attempt to sweep, as well as one stat at the end of the video you're going to want to stay tuned for because it is very intriguing. But before we get into all that, folks, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. The Jays have won 10 straight games. If you're enjoying multiple videos a day, every step of the way, you guys have been absolute beasts with the support. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. You guys have been absolutely insane. Folks, a lot to go over today. And speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays and you guys being absolutely fantastic, the Jays are being fantastic as well as they won their 10th straight game yesterday. But before that, we got some interesting updates to go over. Now, this came completely out of nowhere, and you can see this here. Left-handed reliever Justin Bruihl was recalled and was active yesterday. Nick Sandlin with right elbow inflammation has been placed in the 15-day IL. Completely out of nowhere. And Nick Sandlin's been really good this year. He has been a beast out of the bullpen, especially given the role that he's had to play this season. And he now, every time he comes back, he seems to get injured. And that's been a reoccurring theme for this Toronto Blue Jays team and bullpen. You think about it, Anthony Santander, he came back, went out with injury. Jimmy Garcia, he comes back, he goes down with injury. Now Nick Sandlin goes down with injury as well. Now, we saw this because before the game yesterday, there was some rumbling. Shai Davidi said that Justin Bruihl is on the taxi squad and they're working through a possible roster move. And that's, of course, Nick Sandlin, which will take him out until after the All-Star break. Now, this is an interesting one because ultimately, folks, this actually matters a lot. And of course, we're at the part of the season where the Jays are playing, as we all know, 16 games in 16 days. The bullpen is absolutely torched. It helped yesterday that Chris Bassett only had to pitch 6 innings and the game got delayed in the top of the 7th and then ultimately got rained out. So the Jays didn't have to use any bullpen arms, but they can use the All-Star break. And obviously they have a ton of momentum. And we all want to keep their momentum, for them to keep their momentum rather. But they are in the middle of a stretch now that is, not unprecedented necessarily, but very rarely happens. And as a result, having guys like Nick Sandlin go down and Jimmy Garcia and all these things have taken a pretty big toll. But again, they got a lefty back up. Nick Sandlin hasn't necessarily been very healthy this season, but he was very solid in his little time back. A very unfortunate injury for him. You look at Justin Bruihl's stats here. Of course, we have Nick Sandlin's stats right here. We'll look at Nick Sandlin's first, and we'll dive into Justin Bruihl. 2.2 ERA in 19 games. He's been really, really good. Of course, he came over as a part of the Andres Jimenez trade, and he's been solid his entire career. He's never really had a bad season. His worst season technically was last year when he went 8-0 with the Guardians. Of course, a -1 WAR randomly somehow, but regardless of that, 68 games. He was really good. Of course, played an opener for 1 game. A fairly respectable ERA. This season, really good for the Jays. He gave up that Yankees home run that kind of soured some people's, the taste in some people's mouths. Nick Sandlin's been very useful, especially in not necessarily a multi-inning role. We've seen him earlier in the season be used, earlier on in the season as a extra innings guy. He's been a crucial part of the bullpen. Now, who they called up is, of course, Justin Bruihl, who's been less good, right? He's had flashes this year in 4, appearances, 2.7 ERA. He's a lefty that probably is basically just here to help them get to the end of the first half of the season as the All-Star break approaches. And the bullpen right now is in a little bit of shambles. You have Justin Bruihl, you have Robinson Pena on the team. I don't suspect either of those guys to remain on the Toronto Blue Jays roster after the All-Star break. Because, of course, the All-Star break, you're going to give Max Scherzer rest so he can go longer. You're going to have rest for all the starters. But, of course, you're hopefully going to get Jimmy Garcia back. You're hopefully going to get a guy like Nick Sandlin back because, again, he keeps going down with injuries. We got to hope this isn't like a chronic thing where he's going to continue going down with injuries. Again, 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. Completely came out of nowhere, but again, the bullpen is the biggest sticking point for this team right now, so it's gonna be interesting there. But let's dive into a few other updates today, because of course we're diving into a lot of different things here, and with these moves, come a little bit of question marks about how this team is gonna look. And then they've won 10 in a row; they're obviously looking fantastic. But let's dive into it a little bit here. And this is an interesting, stat. We have some more stuff. We have some updates surrounding the players and the way that this team is playing and things like that. But again, let me know down below if you are concerned about the bullpen or not. We'll kind of circle back to the bullpen here in a minute. But let's start with this here. This is a very interesting stat I wanted to bring up that is kind of crazy. So record versus above 500 teams and sub 500 teams. So the Jays have the second most wins against teams over 500 and the 7th best record. But apparently the Jays are still frauds because people can't take the fact they're a good team. I just wanted to bring that up and ask if you guys knew about that. And obviously we think back to the start of the season, a brutal April schedule, horrible. And of course, I was making videos, posting videos almost every day about it. And again, if we got through the toughest part of the schedule, the Jays will be in good shape. Ultimately, it has happened that way, a lot better than I would have expected. But the Jays have the second most wins against teams above 500. So for people saying the Jays are frauds, all those things, That is not the case at all. They're obviously in an easier part of their schedule now. They are an elite baseball team, and everything represents, everything, all the advanced analytics kind of are representing that. You see, since April 30th, the Jays have a run differential of plus 56, while the Yankees, for, in all intents and purposes, have a plus 52 run differential. So you look at the run differential change, you look at, of course, now not only the run differential change, but you look at the record against teams above 500, you're in for a very, very good baseball team. And of course, we're looking at it from the perspective of, okay, can this team continue to sustain the exact amount of, wins they're doing now? No, like no team is going to continue to sustain a 1,000 or 100 win percentage, whatever you want to call it. However, are there underlying metrics that are saying this team is better than maybe we all initially thought? Absolutely. Beating teams above 500, sweeping the Angels, sweeping the Yankees, sweeping, hopefully, the White Sox today. The team is just very good, whether you look at it from the perspective of run differential now. And of course, the overall run differential is a bit skewed, but as of late, the run differential, the bullpen being solid despite getting worked through. You have the tied for the second longest win streak in MLB, or in Blue Jays history, rather. And of course, this is up to 10 games now. This is prior to yesterday's rainout. They have a chance today with a win to tie the longest win streak in Blue Jays history. And really since, in the modern era here, since 2015, a random crazy 11-game win streak in 2013. Let me know down below if you remember what that one was. But the team is in a very, very good spot, right? They're just in a fantastic spot, and one that not only is going to be crucial as you start to look ahead, but you have other fans talking about it now. You can see this here. Anyone remember how good those 2015, 2016 Blue Jays lineups were? This year's Jays team has gotten a better record, or has a better record through 90 games than most of them. It's their best record through 90 games since their first consecutive World Series, or the first of the two World Series in a row, 1992, 1993. I'm just saying, we're talking about the bullpen. We're talking about moves that are happening. Can this team sustain it? How bad is the bullpen? Everything looks really, really good right now for the Jays. Are they going to be able to sustain this? That's the big question mark. The exterior, the advanced analytics seem to point to yes. However, there's always the chance that, of course, they come back to earth a little bit, but that's why Ross Atkins is going to make moves at the deadline. That's where you add a front-of-the-line starter, which I have a video on probably tomorrow or later tonight. You need a starter, even get more bats. Everybody's rolling right now, and even the bullpen, while also, of course, dealing with injuries, Jimmy Garcia and Nick Sandlin, you're slowly getting guys back. We saw the resurgence of Braden Fisher. We saw, I guess the surgence. He never really, his first major league game was with the Jays this year. The rise of Braden Fisher, the resurgence, I guess, of Brendan Little. Two guys that Ross Atkins was able to get for absolutely, really nothing. Braden Fisher for Kevin Biggio, Brendan Little for cash. Chad Green playing really well as of late. Ryan Byrne is one game he's played this year, or 2 games, have been really good. You're getting contributions from up and down, and that's what makes this team so special. You improve that starting rotation, and I was talking to my buddies about it the other day, literally yesterday. The Jays have 2 of the most consistent starters of our lifetime, right? In José Berríos and Chris Bassett. Of course, some, not just those two, but guys who every season are going to put up between a 3 and a 4 ERA, especially José Berríos. But they don't have this season a front-of-the-line starter. If they can go out and get a front-of-the-line starter to really propel them, you'll be in very good shape. We know they're going to add a bullpen arm. We know they're going to add a starter. Hopefully they add a bat. It's just a matter of how high are they willing to go? Are they willing to trade the Arjun Amalas of the world? Are they willing to trade the Trey Savages as you finally have a decent prospect pool? Or are they going to kind of, go in the lower tier and go after guys that, we've been talking about on the channel? Are they going to go for the Edward Cabreras, the Freddie Peraltas, the Jacob deGroms? Or, some of the lower tier guys? Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that, folks. Updates are coming every single day. And of course, we're going to keep you up to date every step of the way. Moves are being made, a surprising one this time. But not only that, folks, the Jays are for real. And hopefully, we'll be talking later today with their 11th straight win. Feels like Cloud9. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys later. Cheers.